It's time. All right, here it is. The Pantelis podcast is back. First time that I'm in studio, even though the studio's not ready to do a podcast, and it's not through Skype in a very, very long time. So I'm kind of very happy. My guest today, my buddy Nick Drossos, who just got back from a trip to the U.S., a trip that forced him to quarantine up until now. This is your first time out, eh?
Actually, yesterday, it felt like I was going out. I felt there's lights. I felt like a freaking vampire for
Did it feel weird,
in the house, man. And I tried to get out of it, bro. I tried everything.
But they blocked you, They said they might send people to take a look at your house to...
Yeah, so what happened, as soon as I got out, they're like, I'm like, look, I went for work. I'm trying to quarantine 2 weeks. I go, yeah, but quarantine 2 weeks. Like, he didn't want to hear anything.
Hold on a second. But before you left for the U.S.,
Yeah.
you did a COVID test?
Yeah.
They came back negative?
Yeah. So 72, so I had, because I was going to train the defensive tactics. So this was the Boston Police. It was a big contract. It was actually I've trained police and military, but it's the first time they are actually paying me.
Yeah.
So I said, I had to do it in March, and then I moved it it was right after COVID, and then we kept moving it. Then he told me, if you don't come now, I don't know when it's going to happen again. So I'm like, okay, I got to go. So I'm like, okay, let me do all my research. So last minute, I see to get into Boston, it's not all the states, you need a COVID test. So I'm like, fuck, 72 hours before, because it has to be 72 hours before. I went to get the test. I get a letter. Everything is done, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I go there. Everything is good. I show them the COVID test. It's fine. But when I come back, it doesn't make any sense that they tell you, no, you got to stay home for 2 weeks. And I told them, what if I go get a test? No, 2 weeks quarantine.
It gets frustrating.
Yeah, because, it's the logic that you're trying to think, okay, what's the difference between me going there and me coming back? And you can't tell me. See, the way I was thinking, okay, what's the way it should be done? Nick, you have 48 hours to go get a COVID test, or 24 hours, and stay home until it's a negative, and then send it in to us. That would make sense. But 2 weeks, I think it's the easy, quick way to say, everybody just stay home.
You think so wait, when you came back, you offered them, you told, if I remember correctly, you're like, look, I'm going to just get I have a negative test here. I could get another test, shows that I'm negative. Can I go back in society? And they said, even if you have a negative test, we don't care. You're just going to follow the procedure, which means that they're not thinking. No. They're just going through they're checking out boxes.
That's it.
That's that's infuriating.
Yeah, and the guy didn't want to hear anything. I'm trying to talk to him. So then I got home. I was like,
who's this guy? Like a Canadian health guy?
Yeah, no, at the border guy,
Oh, yeah.
And so then I was fucking pissed. I'm like, okay, I got to find a way to get out of this. So I called the Canadian government. They had a number. So even the girl at the Canadian government office, she was like, ouais, ben, ça n'a pas de sens. Je sais pas, là, si on
doesn't make sense.
On devient communiste. She's telling me this shit.
We're becoming communists. She was angry and saying that.
I swear to God, she was fucking pissed. And then I tried to send a letter, an email, because there's a clause that says if you're doing your job here and you're going to do the same thing over there, you might be able to be exempt.
This is the problem, is it's all made up stuff. They don't know how to handle this, so they're making stuff up. That's what I just don't like, the fact that they're willing to bullshit us into thinking that we'll believe it too. Some of this doesn't make any sense. Like, you can go to the States if you're going by plane, but you're not allowed to drive or to take a boat. That doesn't make any sense. So what is it? Is it me going to the States is the problem? Is it boats that are dangerous? Is it me in my car that's the danger? What are we talking about here? Just say nobody's allowed because it's so dangerous, or everyone's allowed, or let's say every method of travel if you're going for business. Now, you couldn't drive there. You had to take a plane there. It's my buddy Abba, same thing. He went to New York. It was the same trouble he had. He could only go by plane.
How did he get in? You have to be an essential worker? Or
he's not an essential worker. No, he's a fool like me.
Okay, so they let him in.
Yeah, they let him in to go to New York. You're allowed. I could grab a plane ticket now if I really wanted to get down. It's not super complicated. The problem is coming back. They're going to force you to do the 2 weeks thing.
Yeah, it makes. And then you think about,
because he was going for work though. Because technically he's a comic. He went to do a podcast.
Yeah,
it is work now. The problem is, it used to be in the beginning essential travel. That's not essential. Even you going down there is not essential, right? We're not life saving. Me going down there wouldn't be essential. But now, since they let us go as workers, it would be cool. But it's just stupid that I can't drive down there. I can't drive to Plattsburgh.
When you think what they're doing, it feels like they're winging shit.
That's what I'm saying. They're just people like us. They're people. They make mistakes. They do. But now everyone's just trying to appease
But you know what the difference is between us and them? And I had to think about it.
Us and them, you mean us and the government, or us?
Us and the government.
Yeah.
Like the regular people is that we have this idea because they've been to school, they've studied, they're in a certain position, that they know more than us. And the truth is they don't, right? Because if there's some of this has to do with just logic. It doesn't make sense. My biggest thing is when this whole COVID started, you know, these Greeksters, Bill Gates is going to chip us, you know. Like
I remember that, yeah.
It was fucking crazy, right? There was all these stupid like concepts and ideas of what's really happening. And I think, what's the guy? Sousa, what's his name? Not Sousa, the medical.
Dinesh D'Souza? No.
The Portuguese guy, the guy who's running the
who?
I think he's Portuguese, whatever his name is. The guy who's running
the Ethiopian guy?
No, the guy who's running the medical guy for Quebec, who keeps coming out.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. Okay. Shit. I thought you were talking about someone else.
Yeah. So he was like, no, you know, we don't need masks. Masks are not, you know.
They keep flip flopping on masks.
What's flip flopping and what worries me is the two extremes. From it really, there's a video of him saying it's, you know, don't take masks, you don't need it. It's to everybody's got to wear one. How do you go from one extreme to another? That to me is the part where I'm like, are they really aware of what they're doing?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they're aware of what they're doing. I know that they're panicking. I know that everyone's appeasing. You told me before we came in that you just found out in Quebec. I don't know if this is true. You said that black businesses are going to get money because they're black-owned businesses. Is that a true thing or just like some internet rumor?
I just read it now that they're going to like...
to fight racism? But how does that... Isn't that racist though? Because you're picking a race and you're giving them something that you're not giving everyone else?
Against systemic racism, they're giving an X percentage. So I just read it and I was
Can I ask you a question? I guess this is for everyone. If you think that a specific race, color, religion, something specific needs more help than everyone else, isn't that racist? Like you're like, I'm going to help you out, little guy. Isn't that... For me, what I'm going to do is because I'm going to fight racism, I'm going to charge double for anyone who's black just because they don't need my help. And they're going to prove it.
But you see, it's like that can get you so much shit for saying that. Yeah. Like, I mean, I got into arguments with people. And to me, like, we grew up in Parkex. Half my friends were Haitian, man.
Yeah, nobody... Well,
like, I never saw racism. And we were racist between us. Hey, le grec, t'es moist, grec. And, you know, we used to...
You're talking about Haitians used to bully you?
Yeah. We used to fight with them. And then we used to be friends with them. But
childhood is different now as adults. Here's the thing. It's not because the world became more racist. Now it's because, people complain more. But the world is as racist as it ever was. Yeah. Maybe less, but the impact is seen more, right? So... Let's say something racist would happen back in the day. I don't know, a black kid who's playing basketball at night gets stopped by the cops. He tells them to go fuck themselves and they shoot him, let's say. Did it happen? He said, she said. Now, bro, there's cell phone cameras. Yeah. So right now you're at home, you see a black kid that was playing basketball, he gets shot, you're like, hey, what the fuck is happening? And then that makes you enraged, right? And then you look for the enemy. Let's say now it's like the cops. So they're all evil, which the all encompassing thing is the same thing as racism, is you're grouping an entire group of people into this ideal enemy because one of them or two of them did this. Yeah. It's a very dangerous road to go down. The worst part is, there are ways to fight racism, but it starts with education.
You know what? Again, when I hear people talk about, like, I mean, there's an influencer here in Montreal. He's always talking about systemic racism, and he's always...
Who's this?
I don't want to mention his name because I've called him out a few times, and he won't come like on a podcast with me live.
Well, a lot of these guys won't argue. A lot of the guys that are super like ideologues. Yeah. They don't because they don't want anybody to challenge their ideas.
Because there's no sense to it. There's no logic to it. And to me, it's like and I have friends of mine who are black that I grew up with, who make more money than me, have better jobs than me, own better companies. It has nothing to do with race. We need to start telling people, and I believe this is my theory. Yeah. Everybody has their challenges. I don't have a high school education. I have learning disabilities. You're going to tell me...
All those things are going to go against you, not your race, is what you're saying.
It has nothing to do with my race. Look, we grew up in Parkex. We know it. Yeah. There's black and white kids. Some of the black kids did it better than the white kids and vice versa. So
a lot of the Greek kids didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything. And I look at that and I go, what does race have to do with it? And instead of empowering, right, each culture, each nationality, each religion and saying, you know what, don't let anything define you and label you. Yeah. Right? That's the message. Like, I'm sorry, but when Oprah's talking about systemic racism or LeBron James, or I'm like, How are you talking about systemic racism when you make $250 million and the only person who makes more money than you, unless I'm wrong, is the owner?
Yeah. So here's the thing. You have a point too, because it's weird seeing them talk about it because they have them, but they're not talking about themselves. They're just saying like there are problems, and there are problems. We know that there's
Absolutely,
problems. There's 100% problems. I just don't think that the way people are trying to fix them now is the right way. I think it's just going to cause more tension.
Absolutely.
Because if you're saying right now, let's say, like you said, the black-owned businesses, which I didn't hear about, so I'm going to look more into it. But let's say it's what you just told me. So let's say you own a business, you own, I don't know, a pastry shop, and there's a pastry shop next to you. You're a Greek guy, they're Haitian. Yeah. You know each other, you're friends, you work the same. You guys are doing good business. They receive a check just because they're Haitian, and they're like, look, here's another 50 G's to inject in. He's like, okay, well, I didn't ask. Like, I'm doing fine. What about that guy next to me? No, that guy's white. He doesn't need it. That's going to cause more tension because then you're going to be like, fuck that guy. He's only successful because he was given that money. It was the same thing with affirmative action, right? Yeah. So it was making people feel weird. They were getting hired at places and people were like, oh, yeah, it's because it's a woman. Oh, it's because it's an Asian person. Oh, it's because it's a black guy. That's why they didn't deserve the job. When a lot of people deserved it. They had the right credentials to get in there. But then you always have people second guessing your abilities because of stupid shit like that. There's ways to fight it. And it's not by putting people in places. It's not by pushing people ahead of racists, for example. It's to get rid of racists. It starts with education reform. It starts with eliminating that from the schools, putting more money into the schools. So kids, when they grow up, they don't have that. So the next generation doesn't have to go through this shit. That's where it is. Because right now, if you just move the goalpost for someone else, you're making another guy angry, then he's gonna get home angry. He's gonna be like, fuck, I work so hard, but the fucking they're only giving money to the Ukrainians. What the fuck is that? And then that kid grows up, he hears that shit in his house, he's like, these fucking Ukrainians, they ruined my dad's life. And then you know what I mean? It fucking continues the cycle. The way they're going about it is completely reactionary.
Absolutely.
And scared, and panicky. And also, man, it's also super racist. Like, I'm saying, if they did right now that to Greeks, if they came out and said, I don't know,
Greeks, help all Greek owners.
Yeah, because they can't do it themselves, and I'd be like, that's fucking. How about you shut the fuck up? How about you just make sure that I'm on the same level as everyone else, that nobody puts me down. I don't need to start at a different place. I'll start with everyone else. You make sure nobody fucks with me. That's what I want. I don't need a fucking handout.
But I think by doing that, and it has something to do with a color or race or religion, but I think anybody it was, I'd be like, well, how is that fair to me? Do you think I because I'm white, I easily built my business?
But that's what I'm saying. But then that's what it causes, and then it causes all these issues, and then it causes because the next generation didn't, like I say, you grew up the way you grew up. We're not gonna make you racist. You know what I mean? It's either you have it in you or you don't. But these kids, let's say your kid was really young, and all he hears when you come home is like, "What the fuck? I'm working so hard, whatever." But the benefits keep going to the Trinidadian guy over there just because something like that, Then your kid has that shit in his head, and then when he grows up, he thinks that all of his shortcomings are because of another person's race. Like, look at the Hitler thing when World War II, everything that was going wrong, even though fucking they started World War I, that's how they got fucked. It was the Jews. Yeah, but you know that the reason why the country's in dire straits because you tried to take over the world and everybody attacked you. No. It's the Jews. So, and then like, fuck, we need a scapegoat. And that's what they always do. So this is not the right way to do things. It's not the right way to do things. You have to start small. You have to start by small, I mean age-wise, like kids, education reform, make sure that shit is eliminated from schools. You know what I mean? Yeah. Teach them. Like, all that shit it doesn't matter. Like,
here's the reality, right? And somebody told me, well, you're white, you don't understand. I go, well, you know what?
That's absolutely absurd because I wasn't called white until a year ago.
You know what? I said that. I said, what does that mean, white? I'm Greek. Am I part of being white or am I Greek? Because I don't know anymore what it means to be a color.
Yeah.
Right? And it's so funny. The people who are screaming racist the most are the racists.
Yeah, but that's how it is because they're scared. So they try to deflect it.
Like, I was in Greece with like my very close black friend. We're together in Greece and Santorini, this and that. I don't see the race or the color, but then yet other people do it and call it out. And you're like, hey, it's just...
They get mad at you.
I'm confused. And I'm like... But there's no logic. When you actually talk to them, they're not going to be able to get to a certain point, and then they're just going to stop it. And then
because they're not making points. No. What they're saying is, here's the other problem. A lot of people do stupid things thinking that they're doing the right thing. So it's very hard right now. If I think that the only way to help black people is by burning down some random guy's hardware store, which doesn't help at all. But if I'm convinced that that's going to help, you know how hard it is to change my mind because I'm doing something crazy, but in my eyes, I think it's noble. You know?
That's the hard part.
Which is insane. It's completely insane. None of this stuff, if you're a racist, how are you going to stop being racist if shit like that happens? Like, you're not.
But here's the thing.
It's crazy.
This is the reality. And I've said this before. And some people, I said, racism is like bullying. You're never going to get rid of it. There will always be people. And, you know.
Because prejudice always exists, right? You always assume something.
And the idea that when we talk about racism, the same people who say they're not racist, I've heard comments make about other races. So it's the idea that we're going to get eliminated. We're not. It's like eliminating war. Yeah. We're always going to we're always going to fight. It's in our nature. As much as we say we want to be peaceful, I'd love to see the day, but I don't see it happening. Bullying is never going to end. Bullying is
never going to end as long as I'm around. I'll tell you that much.
But what we need to learn, and I believe, is to educate our kids, obviously, because that's the bottom line.
You can't eliminate now. The only way is that you have to clean up so the next generation doesn't do it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like right now, if this place is filthy and I want to take pictures to show it clean, the only way to do it is to clean up the place and then take the pictures. Yeah. I could take as many photos from different angles as I want, right? The place is a shithole. You have to clean it up and then take the fucking photos. I know it's a very simplified, oversimplified example, but it's the only way to clean up. Yeah. So when I see shit like that, it makes me laugh because it's like they don't know what they're doing is racist. Because that's super. Be like, these guys need extra help. The guy's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I grew up here. I opened up my restaurant. My restaurant's doing fine. I'm doing better than the guys across the street. Like, why would I need extra help? Because you're black. You can't handle it.
But to me,
that's crazy to me. That's completely absurd. I'd be super fucking offended. I would take the money though and be like, "Fuck these idiots." No, it's true. It's not, dude. It's not the business owner's fault.
I just read it quickly.
It's not the business owner's fault, dude.
I just read it quickly, so I don't know the details of it.
These black business owners better take advantage of that and take it. No, for real. Because if the government wants to be stupid, they want to be racist, anti-racist. Take the advantage, bro. What are you, stupid?
Money for sure.
Take the money.
I could see. When I read that, I was like, well, how does that, like, what does that tell me? Which I'm fine.
Yeah.
But like, what message are we sending to, it's like you kind of want to stop it by creating it.
Yeah.
And that to me, it's kind of counterproductive.
Yeah.
And I look at like, again, my black friends were freaking successful. Like they'd be like, I saw a great video on Facebook, which was funny. It was taken down like after it went up.
Was it about aliens?
No, it was a black kid that goes to this white woman's house to cut her tree.
Okay.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you people," you know. And she was like,
"Oh, Jesus Christ!"
The kid's like, he made a video. He's like, "I make more money than you. I live in a bigger house than you. My truck is worth more." And he's like, the kid's confused. And
he's like, "Fuck you!"
Like, like who wants to be treated like that?
I'm glad that people are seeing it that way because I thought I was crazy because I'd see shit like this and I'd be like, how is that not offensive? Like that to me, if somebody would come to me and be like, I saw what happened in Greece, all those fires and stuff here. If you need something, I'd be like, fuck you.
But do you know, and mark my words on this podcast, how much shit we're gonna get for this?
I'm used to it. I don't mind. I don't give a fuck.
Even me now, I'm like, people are like, oh, Nick, you have a business. Look, this is my belief. I'm not saying anything bad.
No, you're not saying anything bad. You're saying you don't like racism in any form. You don't like it when it's secretive as much as when it's
absolutely
just completely out there. Same thing with me, but the out there I prefer than the secretive, like undertone racism. Yeah. I hate more because it's a load of bullshit. Like you if you want to be racist, fucking be racist. Let us all know that you're fucking racist. Yeah. You know, like the KKK, at least we know. Yeah. They're not hiding anything. I'm like, okay, I know this guy's racist. This guy can't be in my party.
Yeah,
you know, we get it. But when I hear undertones like this, like, oh, you know, we need to support black. I'm like, yeah, of course we need. And then they say something like, yeah, they can't handle businesses by themselves. It's like, wait, what the fuck did you just say?
When you think about it, that's to a certain degree.
So what the fuck did you just say? Like, that's super fucking racist. I understand.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm telling you, man. And again, it's like when you get into it, you gotta be careful with what you say. I was called a racist in the street.
It's fun. It's a good time.
With a girl. Shit, you're racist. I'm like,
well, why would you say?
Hey, you know what's the funny thing?
I could do without these Mexicans.
You want to hear the
what did you say?
I dated a black girl for 3 years.
No, but what did you say?
I'm like, what? Like, what do you? She goes, you're racist.
You could date black people and still be racist.
Yeah, that's what she told me.
I'm pretty sure.
That's what she told me. I'm like, how does that work?
I don't know. I think it does work.
It's like I'm listening to it, but I mean, how do you, when you get into that conversation, you're like, there's no logic, there's no point, just whatever.
Well, you have to also remember that this has all been weaponized now.
Yeah,
people's panic is weaponized. The whole thing,
and they try to ruin your career.
Yeah,
they want to take it. Oh, she even told me, she goes, I have your YouTube channel. What do you think my friends would do if they found out?
Wait. Does she think that your YouTube channel is like a racist YouTube channel, the self-defense channel?
I have no, like, I mean, but bro, you know, when you have a
Why are you only fighting black guys?
23, 24-year-old, like, fucking, what do you expect? And there's no logic to it.
Wait, but what's the problem? Why did she call you a racist? I'm just curious.
Because when the whole Black Lives Matter came out, at one point I wrote...
You said, no, they don't.
I wrote, all lives matter. Everybody's equal. Like, that's...
Yeah.
Right?
You know, the problem is, with the all lives matter thing, is that what you said is logical. Everybody who's not a racist agrees that all lives do matter. The problem is that the people that started using the all lives matter in the beginning were just like angry people that were mad that black people were getting attention. Yeah. So then anyone else who would use it, they would label you as part of that. Like, go, no, you don't. All lives matter. But that's not what I get. That's not. But
you see, I posted Black Lives Matter on a post of Denzel Washington because he helped.
Chadwick Boseman.
Yes, you know who's the guy who died, who was
Chadwick Boseman.
And I wrote that, to me, is Black Lives Matter. To me, that is
like
helping your community, helping it grow. Going out, smashing, looting, blaming white people, blaming whatever you want.
But that's not the real. First of all, the people smashing, there's also a lot of white people doing that. And it's Black Lives Matter, the organization, that's doing that shit. They're not a good organization. The organization Black Lives Matter is garbage.
See, I don't like. I mean, I stopped following it because what I did is I deleted my Facebook account. Like, I mean, I went and I said, I'm not getting into this anymore because it's useless. It's a lot of time and energy, and it's hard to change people's ideas on what they want to believe. So it's kind of like, you know what? I'm going to lead my life as best as I could. I know who I am as a person. What they say is irrelevant, and I just stopped getting into it because I'm like, I kind of feel like you get into this game that doesn't end, and whatever you say, there's a rebuttal, and it just grows.
It's funny because I'm like you. I do the rebuttal thing. I get pissed off, whatever. But I had a long time because I got into an internet fight. My buddy, he's a YouTuber too, Abba. He has the channel Abba and Preach. He's the one who told me. I asked him, I go, "What do you do? Because you get into fights." He goes, "Now I don't care anymore." He goes, "You have to understand that you don't need to reply to everyone." He told me, you know who you are. You don't have to reply to everyone." And he has like a lot of followers, a lot of like. So if he posts something controversial, which he does a lot, he'll get a lot of hate just as much as he'll get love. And he's like, nah, I'm cool with it. Like, you don't have to reply to everyone. Like, fuck that shit. So that kind of, seen from someone who is at a bigger scale, who's doing it, that kind of calmed me down. Like, yeah, I don't need to reply. I don't give a fuck what people say.
No, now I know.
Like, I've gotten comments also to somebody said I was a shill, like I was part of the deep state, like whatever you want. Like, there's all kinds of crazy shit people come up with. It's not up to me to fight that. This is just lunacy. You know what I mean?
And at the end, there's no, like, you're going to be on the phone fighting, and then you get angry.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to defend a point. And I'm like, how does she call me a racist? And it's
Wait, what happened? You got called a racist? I forgot. Did you say?
Just because of that.
Oh, the All Lives Matter thing.
I had posted something like that.
That's so stupid.
And she's like, you're racist.
But wait.
And I'm having my ice cream at Dairy Queen alone.
Yeah.
I go,
how?
I'm like, I don't understand.
She said all lives matter. Yeah, that includes you.
She goes, it's not Black lives. It's not all lives. It's Black lives. I go, yes, Black lives do matter.
They're part of the all.
Yeah, they're part of the all. Like, I mean, I was raised to see everybody as equal, right?
Except for the Swiss, bro. I don't trust them.
And then she starts like fucking just saying stupid shit to me like that. And I was just like,
people are militarized, man. People think they're doing the right.
At the end, you want to know why? Everybody's scared to speak out, and everybody wants to feel that on the right side.
Exactly.
Of history.
But they're not.
Follow the masses.
Dude, trust me, this is what happened with the Nazis too. People think they're on the right side of history. A lot of people are going to wake up in 10 years being like, what the fuck was I doing? You know those neighborhoods that were mostly black owned that you fucking trashed? Yeah. I think 10 years from now, when you look back and you're like, holy shit, I fucked up the economy.
Absolutely. It's the whole thing with defund the police, man.
First, this is another thing that I'm always confused about, defunding the police. Like, because Clues, bro, I've dealt with I dealt with a shitty cop 2 days ago. Like, there's a lot of garbage police officers. But isn't the way to fix that by giving them more funds, more resources, more training, filtering them out, IQ tests? Do you know what I mean? Because if you put less money into something, isn't it going to inherently be shittier? Don't you need... I think in society, if we're going to forget politicians, the money should be cops, firemen, doctors, teachers, everything, every pillar that builds society. That's where the focus should be. That's where the funding should be. You got to make sure you got the best of the best. I don't want half-ass cops. I don't want mall cops. Do you know what I mean? I want guys that they went through IQ tests. I want guys who they did empathy training. I want guys that you've actually tested, not are you racist? Yes, no. I want guys that you've had some field training. And you're like, This guy's fucking questionable because for some reason, whenever he arrests like a white guy for like a violent crime, he's cool with it. But a black guy who jaywalks, he beats the shit out of him. This guy shouldn't have a badge. Do you know what I mean? That's where the money should go. Not even defunding them. How the fuck is that going to help? You're going to have shittier cops.
See, I don't know. Like when they say defunding, I don't know if they want to cut down what they're making and put the money somewhere else.
Not what they're making. It's not like per person. So basically, there's funds that are allocated to different departments. So let's say the police, in one case. So if you have like, let's say, arbitrary, this is a random number. Let's say you get $1 million a year for police in Montreal. Let's say they get $1 million and they divide it. You have to pay their staff, there's equipment. But if you defund, if you put less, it's like, oh, now you got to find a way to make it work. Yeah, well, that means that either people are going to be working, I'm going to cut a couple of employees. How am I going to fucking do this? I want more resources, not less, you know? I would put more money in, more training, but also guaranteed reforms, more like investigations, more firings when they're necessary. Another problem with the police is the all or nothing thing, where they shut their mouths and they support the police officer even when he's done something wrong. I don't like that because as a comic, I wouldn't do that.
See, so
do you know what I mean? Like me and you are friends now.
Yeah.
If I find out that you raped a woman, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, but he's my friend.
Yeah.
I'll be like, yo, Nick fucking raped him. No, I'm not for that shit. Do you know? That's what they should be doing. Instead of this whole, no, he's a cop. We ride together, we die together.
What happens, and I've trained many of them, right? They have a very difficult job.
Yeah, of course.
Right now, they're in a position where I spoke to an officer in New York City who's a very good friend of mine. He's like, we're completely demoralized.
Yeah.
It's like they're being beaten and hit from every corner. And yeah, I always say there's probably a small percentage who are, let's say, not very good at their job. Another percentage who maybe, you only build the experience through being on the field. If you're a new cop and you've been on the field for a year or two, the experience is built and your reaction is built through being on the, more years you have, the more you know how to react and how to take care of a situation. So there's always a small percentage of them that, might react wrong in the moment because every situation is different. Like, I mean, when I was training with the officers and we were doing knife attacks in close quarter range, and under 15 feet from there to there, every time I attacked them with obviously a rubber knife, 15 feet, I stabbed them every time by the time they got to their gun. And going empty hand one-on-one with a knife is deadly, even for them.
Yeah, for everyone.
Right, for anybody. But even if they're trained, I mean, and the person's attacking you full speed.
Yeah, by the time you take out,
you don't have enough time. So they're also worried. They're being attacked and hit from every angle as well. And we want to, defund them or take them out of certain areas. Look what's happening, bro. It's freaking chaos, man.
Yeah, of
People
course.
are like, please send them back now because we need law and order. We need some certain structure and to put them they're all bad. I hear people, they're all killers. I'm like,
no.
And then when you talk to the guy, he shot the kid. No, you're making it sound like he walked up to him and shot him. Right?
Yeah, there's different cases. There's different. I think accountability is a big thing. They need to change that because a lot of cops are not accountable. You see how it is. You do something stupid, and you get suspended for a bit, and then you come back. So, because not all cops are good, just like not all cops are bad. Not all doctors are good. Not all doctors are bad. The fact that they wouldn't hold people accountable for so long for crazy shit, it boiled up, And then, but here, this is also a gimmick too, because what happened was it wasn't just there was a video and people freaked out. Yeah. It's the organization, right? Like when there was an organization that was backing, that was funding, and said, all right, now we riot, now we do this. That's when it gets dangerous. Yeah. Because in these cases, you need you put your resources into dialogue and really put the government being like, no, I'm using my power as a citizen, my power to vote, this and that. No one who is against us, no one who is willing to let people die, whatever, or let any department run amok is ever getting voted in again. That's how you win.
Yeah. But you see,
because now all you do is you make enemies like this, but they know what they're doing because there's this whole divide and conquer thing.
Yeah, that's what it is.
This has been happening for a long time. You think politicians are that fucking oblivious? They don't see what they're doing. Yeah. When people, every time someone wakes up, like right now, most people, let's say for long, they start realizing like, wait a second, my neighbor from, he's Hungarian. This guy's Jamaican. That guy's Haitian. That guy's Greek. We all work at the same fucking place. We all grew up in the same fucking neighborhood. We have the same beliefs. We hang out together. What the color of our skin? Like one guy's a bit yellow, the other guy's black. This guy's a little, I don't know, fucking orange, like Trump. But none of that shit doesn't matter because we all do the same thing. We all like the same stuff. We're the same fucking person. So once they start realizing like, this guy's not my fucking enemy, The enemy is the cocksucker who's trying to divide me, who's telling me that this guy's less than, or this guy's more than, or this guy's. He goes, that's the fucking enemy, not your fucking neighbor, the guy that you grew up. What the fuck is the color, dude? The color, dude. This is what fucks with my head that always drives me fucking crazy. Have you ever seen Poseidon when he gets? Because we're very different in the sun. Have you seen Poseidon with a tan?
No.
Pakistani, same color. That's how hardcore he goes. Super, super brown. Sometimes people think he's Mexican when he has the mustache. Like that much. No, for real. That much brown, okay? He's the same fucking dolt. It's such an arbitrary, nonsensical thing. It's such a stupid thing. So to actually try to separate and then you fall for it. You're like, yeah, this guy's more than me because I'm this, or this guy's less than me because you're an idiot because you're falling into that trap. They're doing it on purpose, so you focus on that nonsense. Oh, this guy has a different skin color. So you focus on it, so you don't focus that the government's fucking you, that the government's sending your kids to stupid wars, that the government's taking advantage of all you're paying all these taxes so these politicians make money while you sit in the street and fight. It's so stupid. It's divide and conquer. Because there's no, especially you grew up in North America, you grew up in Canada, let's say, me and whoever you want, let's say comedians, neighbors, whatever. Dude, we have the same thought process. We almost have, apart from, let's say, the Greek or the Haitian, like the subculture that your parents gave you have the same fucking culture every day. You laugh at the same shit. You're the same fucking people. So what are you talking about? Why would you fall for this?
But you see, when you talk to people who are out there fighting, they don't know why they're fighting, some of them.
Well, a lot of them are also very disgruntled white kids who want to belong and they want to feel like they're making a difference.
That's exactly what it is. Because I'm like,
they're like, that gender studies degree isn't doing shit.
Let me go out and fucking create some chaos. And when you talk to them, they don't even really know why they're doing it.
A lot of teenage angst.
There's no logic to it. So it's like, I mean, it's getting, and I'm looking at it and it's like, where's this going to go? And how long is this going to continue?
Until the election.
Everybody says the same thing. Everybody says the same thing. And I would have never voted for Trump.
Okay.
And I think today
would be the day.
I would have maybe considered voting for him.
Well, between him and Biden,
yeah,
a lot of people are saying the same thing. It's too, dude. First of all, Biden's not even there.
Yeah,
Biden's
doesn't even. Yeah, and
out of his fucking mind.
So this is what I did. Right, I started saying, okay, before I make a decision, let me look at different podcasts, different people, different news, right?
Yeah.
So it's like when I watched, the guy who came out with the AK-47 and his wife.
Oh, so again, those two, when I hear the story, I'm on their side.
Yeah, so I looked at that. Wait. I looked at that, and then I see CNN, right? CNN's like, oh, they came out, and I'm looking at the news. I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, let me watch Fox just for fun. So I started watching. I watched it on 5 or 6 different news and podcasts. Then I see they broke in the gate. You see everything that they did. Like, imagine somebody breaking into your house.
That's what I said. I put myself in their shoes.
Yeah. Somebody breaks into your house and says, I burnt 5 buildings over there, but don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you, or maybe I will.
They didn't even say I'm not going to hurt. They didn't say anything. They just broke in and they were fucking around. They were trying to get onto the lawn. That's when they came out and said, whoa, you broke the gate. You come in the lawn. They came out with guns. Yeah. So what I did is I put myself in their shoes. I'm at home. Somebody's trying to break into my house. Do you think I give a fuck what color their skin is?
No. It's finished. You break into my house. I don't care who you are, what you are.
I don't think about that. I think about someone just broke my fucking house.
And you're with your kids or
Get the fuck out. So I put myself in their shoes. And they're like, I couldn't stand it when I was seeing on Facebook. They're evil. This is what's wrong with America. You see these people with their guns. They made it sound like they went out and they were chasing people in the neighborhood. That's not what happened. These guys broke into their property.
And I posted with all these our influencers in Montreal and our like writers.
Yeah.
And I posted this. I'm like, do you know that they have the right to defend themselves? There's a mob of people that show up to your house. You really don't know what might happen, right? They're alone. They're scared. They know what's been happening and they fucking took out Now, is it extreme? Yes, maybe it's extreme. They didn't shoot anybody, but they were just there to protect themselves, right? So it's kind of like people like, oh, it was extreme and this and that. Okay, let 100 people show up to your house and you have your kids in the house, let's say, and you'd be like, oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. Here, guys, just walk through my land and maybe they would have stormed the house. Who knows?
No, but you don't. It's not even a question. They could have wanted to have a picnic. Yeah. You can't break into someone else's house.
And it says no trespassing. They broke the gate, but on CNN they didn't show that breaking the gate. Because I was like, okay, let me dig a little bit deeper before I decide to make a decision on this. And that's when they showed they broke the gate. They were going on the private property. Clearly, you can't do that.
No, it's someone else's. It's exactly what you said. That's how I saw it too. I saw it as if I was in their shoes, I would do everything I need to do to protect my house, my family. Well, get the fuck out of here. You have no rights to my stuff. You have no rights to my property. You have no rights to my... Why? Because you're angry at what? What did I do to you?
You know what's the worst part? And as a self-defense instructor, you're losing your right to defend yourself. So you defend yourself and you get shit for using force when you're being attacked or when you're defending yourself. So a person grabs me, hits me or whatever, and I decide to strike him and then I knock him out and there's a mob of people, and suddenly you're the fucking... You're going to prison.
You have to make sure you only fight against white people.
and then even at like, I mean, you look at the riots.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with black or white anymore.
No.
It has nothing. People need to realize.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I'm for the movement if it's peaceful, if it's to help the communities.
It's not if it's peaceful. It could be aggressive too, but if it needs to be aggressive. This is not helping. You're not helping anything. I'm for I'm very for you know what I mean. I'm anti-totalitarianism. I'm anti government control. I want less government. You do what you need to do to get out of a shitty situation. This is not the case.
Yeah.
I don't know, robbing a Foot Locker.
Yeah. What does that change?
It does not stop police from shooting someone. It doesn't. What you're doing isn't helping, right? All you're doing is you're creating more animosity because you're creating people who are uneducated, who don't see that it's stupid people doing this, who are then going to blame an entire race of people. Even though it's mostly white people, you see, like in the videos, you see a lot of white people doing this shit. There's so many people that come out there and they're like, these black guys, they're just robbing stores. So you just saw a video of 6 white guys spray painting. I know these black guys. No, but those guys are white. Nah, it's the same thing. They're part of that. And you see what I mean? So you can't change that. So all you're doing is ruining it for everyone else by doing stupid shit like that. So no, I'm not for the destruction, especially when there's no point to it. It's not like you're fighting. It's not like in the Foot Locker they trapped the racist underbelly. You know, the organization is in there, and we're gonna set that bitch on fire and steal the sneakers because we're gonna end racism. They're all there. That's not the case. You're just breaking into a store and robbing it.
Yeah. And that, I think that's where you realize that. I kind of feel like I'm for the movement, but it's been robbed. With all kinds of other shit.
The problem is that Black Lives Matter, the organization, is different than the sentence. The sentence, I've said this before, anyone who's not a racist can get behind it. Yeah. Black Lives Matter, of course they do. Yeah, well, I don't want my neighbors to feel inferior. I don't want my neighbors to be scared to go. Of course, I'm fucking 100% for that. But the actual organization, their whole manifesto where they wanted to destroy the nuclear family, they're militant Marxist, they want to destroy capitalism. That has nothing to do with Black lives. Everything you just, first of all, the destroy the nuclear family is very anti-Black because one of the biggest problems that was shown statistically to be an issue in like poor Black communities in the States was the single parent homes. Yeah. So how the fuck do you want to continue that, maintain that? No. There's a lot of fuckery. And then we were talking about the morning show last week. Apparently they took that off the website. You can still find it because you do the Wayback Machine to look at what they had because they got a lot of backlash from the Black community. People are like, wait, what the fuck?
But you see, I believe eventually even the Black communities are going to start fighting over this because some people will not want to.
A lot of people right now are against you. Like, well, I don't like this, man. I want progress. I don't want destruction. I don't want to regress.
You don't even know who the enemy is. Like, I mean, you look at this.
I know who the enemy is, and they're all wearing suit and ties, and they're very, very happy to watch us. Well, us. We're not stupid, but they watch us fight each other. You know. Over nonsense. Like when I hear the black and white thing, like you're fighting over a color of someone's, it doesn't dictate anything. Are you telling me that because someone's white, it means automatically that they're good or they're smarter? No, you fucking crazy. Some of the dumbest people I know are the same skin color as I am. What are you talking about? It doesn't dictate anything. It doesn't dictate your behavior. It's just like a badge. A badge doesn't dictate your behavior. Absolutely. You'll have hero cops and you'll have pieces of garbage. It doesn't dictate anything. Don't fall for that fucking trap. It doesn't dictate anything. You need to all get together and tell the government to fuck off. We're in charge. No, it's true. The people should be in charge. But the government is fucking pulling little strings.
See, I don't know where they're going with all this now.
It's gonna end up failing hard.
The whole COVID, everything they're going through. It's like I'm trying to think like 2020 has been fucked up. I'm like, okay, what's next?
It's gonna end up failing very hard.
I'm like, somebody wrote a great quote, and I was laughing. It goes, 2020 is like crossing the street and looking both ways and getting hit by a plane.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's like that. It's gonna, because you know what we're seeing right now, we're not the only ones. People are gonna start waking up and then be like, what the fuck am I doing? But like the real enemy is right in front of me.
You know what I think? I see what's going on in the world. I think there's there's going to be like a world war.
I hope not, man.
I think there's going to be an economical crash. I think there will be a sort of chaos because there's so much tension.
Yeah.
People are so angry and frustrated. Or, again, if you look at news, that's all you see, right?
Dude, the media, fuck, man.
I've never noticed how much the media
plays a huge fucking
manipulates
role in
us.
this, man. They're manipulating the fuck out of us.
like crazy. It's the first time I realized it when I really started zoning and looking at different medias and their message. And then I was like, fuck, man, it's so obvious. You know, they could brainwash us and direct our brain what we want to think with just bombarding us with the same message over and over.
Do you remember when the COVID thing first happened that first week? I don't know if you remember how I was like, dude, I was head to toe covered, mask, glasses, everything. I was panicking, okay? And one of the reasons, and I remember I walked into the cafe to get something and I was like, yo, what the fuck's going on here? On the screen, they had the toll. It was showing the infection rate around the world. It looked fucking super scary. I walked in with a mask. It was like, yo, what the fuck? Do you have it? I'm like, no, but I'm fucking scared. All this shit was happening. And then I realized I had the news on, let's say CNN, for example. CNN had a counter, but the counter wasn't for deaths. It was for infections around the world, and it was growing. So it was scaring you because they had that skull and bone thing next to it. So it made it seem like, even though they weren't saying it, that all those people are dying. People were getting it. They weren't announcing, all right, they got it. Now they're over it. That they never talk about people who got over it, right? They just count the millions fucking that got it. So I was seeing that. It was scaring the shit out of me. I was like, oh, it's spreading so fast. It's easy. I'm going to get it. I'm going to die. And everyone was panicking. And they kept pushing that. People were panicking. And I noticed it in myself in COVID times, how I reacted that first month. And then I started to calm down. I was like, yeah, wait a second. Maybe I'm fucking overdoing it. Like, I'm going to do my best that I can, right? But even if I get it, I don't think, odds are I'm not going to die.
Yeah, but you see, that's, you know, they didn't come out and say like, guys, okay, we have a pandemic. At no point did they say exercise, eat well, take your
vitamin D,
like stay healthy, sit at home, watch Netflix, drink some wine. Like, I mean, and again, at the beginning, I get it. They didn't know.
I'm with them, dude.
Right?
I didn't know either.
We didn't know, and they're trying to wing this shit. I can't blame them. But 6 months later, you should have a little bit more of awareness of what's going on and a little bit, be more conscious of the decisions you're making.
Yeah.
Because they're saying we're going to have another lockdown soon.
Well, that I think is either posturing, it's a lie, because I'm saying here from Montreal, we cannot sustain a full lockdown again. The economy's done.
You know how many businesses
closed, but they're already so many businesses closed. And now that let's say the mortgage deferral period is ending now in October, right? So people have to pay that shit back.
Bro, you know how many?
If you shut down businesses,
they're going to lose their houses.
Yeah,
I know entrepreneurs who have a lot of. They're freaking out because the people who have the most to lose are the people who have, the guy was 20 million or 50 million up him. The guy who has $5-10 million, has real estate. They're like, they have money, but everything is frozen. People can't pay. The government's only going to help you out for so long. At one point, this shit's going to stop.
Well, the other thing is that people are forgetting. They're like, oh, don't worry, the government will bail people out. The government doesn't generate wealth. No. We do.
Yeah.
These are taxes that we're giving them. So if we can't generate wealth to give them so they could give to people who need it, we're in a very, very bad situation. They're just going to start printing money. We're going to devalue our own currency. It's going to get really, really ugly. It's going to get.
And I think January, February, this is when everybody's going to get hit the hardest. I really, really think. Right now, that the market, from what I heard, people are paying 20% over 20% over the value of a house.
Oh, yeah, the housing market, I've been waiting for it to crash here for a while.
Yeah, I think it was going to crash. It's going up because there's not enough homes that people could buy. But I think after that, at some point,
it's going to tank.
I think it's going to tank because people who are not working,
how are they going to afford it? Yeah.
The guy who's living over his means, or has money, he's making.
But because he's working, the second he stops working, if he's already extended,
and I mean, there's a snowball effect to it, and I'm looking at this. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go live in Greece on a little island, bro. Yeah, as if Turkey doesn't take them.
Yeah, exactly. Turkey tries to fight.
Fuck.
I'm not scared of them. It's mostly posturing.
I don't know, man.
This guy talks a lot of shit, bro.
Bro, I'm convinced that
I'll fucking fight them all myself, bro.
I'm convinced we're gonna go to war, and I'm convinced this is my that Greece needs to and has to go to war.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about war. That war, like it sounds, Greece needs to go to war so we could stop getting bullied by Turkey, right? You know what happens in war, bro? People die.
I know, and
who's gonna suffer in war? It's not gonna be Erdogan. It's not going to be Mitsotakis. It's not going to be any of our guys. It's going to be kids. It's going to be me, you, our kids. It's going to be young people that go to work from poor families. It's going to be poor Turkish people. It's going to be Turkish people in the military, kids who just want to go back and see their families. Same thing with the Greeks. Those are the people that are going to die, are going to suffer. So I don't want that for anyone. I don't want that to happen. But I don't think we're going to... Look, here's the chances of going to war. The only way we could go to war is if... Because Erdogan, is he playing crazy or is he crazy? If he's really crazy, then we might go to war because he doesn't see that it's a losing battle. I don't see how, if he's not crazy, he would want to go to war because he'd be basically going against Greece, Cyprus, France, Israel, Italy, Spain,
Egypt.
Egypt. He'd be going against Germany, maybe. Germany's 50-50. Normally, Germany's on the Turkish side.
Yeah,
so we don't know. But I don't know if he'd be like, you know what, I'm going to destroy my country just to say I declared war. I don't know. Because then the Kurds are attacking from the inside. Armenia would probably jump in.
He's made too many statements.
But that's what I'm saying. So if he goes for it, he just destroyed his country.
And he's preparing for this for years, they say.
That's what he says. But dude, he didn't prepare for this. He was preparing to go against Greece alone.
Yeah.
So he
got a big surprise with France.
He got a big surprise,
Oh, we got France that came fully supporting us without any doubts.
No restrictions. No, and they said that everyone in Europe should do the same. I know that Spain and Italy are gonna have our backs. So I don't think he accounted for that because we didn't even account for having this much support. So, and I don't want there to be a war, dude. I don't want and I don't want a Turkish innocent person die. I don't want a Greek innocent person die. We live on this planet, so our time is so limited. You're gonna have people suffering, dying. I don't want that shit. I don't want that shit at all. If it happens, I think it's a fucking dumb move on this guy's part.
But you know what? His mindset is that Ottoman Empire.
Yeah, he said he wants to rebuild the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah, his mindset is that. His mindset, like the things he said. Now, I looked at this and I've been watching the Greek news almost every day from different...
That's propaganda too, though. They say stupid shit too.
Yeah, but like, I mean, it's stuff that he actually said, right?
Yeah.
And he can't take back, like for him to pull out
he's saying now, he's going to cut our heads off. He's going to drown us in the sea. Yeah, it's hard to take that back.
It's hard to take that back. And it's hard for him to pull the ships out and say, okay, finally we struck a deal with them.
Yeah.
It's hard because I know he wants to get those islands that are, of course, Castelloris, all those islands. And I think he's made up his mind. I just think he's waiting for the
problem is he won't get them in this case because if there's a war, especially first of all, Navy-wise, they can't handle Greece. That's the only advantage is the Navy if it's one-on-one. But against France, against Spain. So basically what he would do is just put his country in a losing situation where a lot of people would die.
He must have backup from somewhere. I wonder if Russia's backup.
No, they have a huge... The Turkish military is one of the biggest in the world. They're huge.
Top 10.
But they're top 10 in size.
Yeah.
They're not good though. They're not in an elite level of anything. That's why us, when we're like what we did to their submarine a few weeks ago, when they thought that we couldn't see their sub, but we have the technology to see their subs, but they can't see ours. Okay. So what they did is they completely surrounded this. They were panicking. They completely surrounded the submarine. We had helicopters over the sea. We had like the ships outside and subs surrounding it, and they were just blasting Beatles music into their speakers. They couldn't communicate with Turkey. They were just hearing, and they were stuck. They didn't know what to do. They were stuck, like because technologically they didn't. Because you basically everybody has the counter. So there's aircraft, and you have the certain anti-aircraft stuff. It works against these jets. It doesn't work against all that shit, you know. So defensively, we're prepared for them. Navy-wise, I'm not worried. The waters, the sea, they're gonna be ours. But I don't want there to be a war. I don't want there to be a war because it's just innocent.
But you know what? They've been from what I know, like because I go to Greece every year. They're going.
They've been pushing for a while. Yeah,
airspace every day. Like after a while, like I mean.
But this is a big failure on Europe's part.
Yeah, they should have put an end to this a long time ago.
They never did. Why? Because Germany's in charge of Europe. Yeah. Germany is a historic ally.
Yes, yeah.
They've been together through thick and thin.
They haven't really spoken out yet. She's kind of like 50,
well, they spoke. She spoke out 2 weeks ago, and I was very surprised. At first, she was talking shit about Greece, like kind of almost pushing us to give Turkey what they want. And then Macron came out and stuff, and then she changed her tune and she said, actually, we need to defend Greece, and all of Europe needs to get behind this, which was a shock statement because it was the first time in 100 years that Germany spoke out against Turkey in favor of Europe. Normally, Germany's trying to take over Europe, and they're using Turkey as help. So it was the first. Time.
Like I said,
I don't know if she meant it.
Yeah, you know what it is. As much as you plan for war, like I mean, and I love reading history and wars, you never know how it's going to play out. It's so unpredictable, and in that moment, it could go either way. And I agree. I hope it doesn't happen. But I also think like that all this, you know, it's like having a bully punching you every day. At some point, you're going to have to do something about it. And he's like I said, the same thing. I asked myself, is he crazy or playing crazy?
No, I think he's a little crazy. I think he believes in a lot of that
Yeah.
fanatical shit. So that's a danger. But at the same time, since he wants to be remembered in history, right?
Yeah. To him, I have a feeling that's big to him.
But imagine if that's what you care about. Aren't you nervous about being remembered as the guy who lost the country?
I think for him,
Because a world war, basically a war with Turkey and everyone involved,
yeah.
Turkey gets separated, Turkey gets decimated.
But
Because
I also think maybe that's something they want to do.
it's very hard to fight on multiple fronts. It's
Yeah,
very hard
yeah.
to fight on multiple
Because they're in
fronts.
Syria, they're in Iraq.
The
they have
Kurds
Armenia,
already
the Kurds, yeah.
are Armenia. The Russians are still 50-50 on the fence.
That to me.
The Russians are a big wild card. The Russians enter from the Black Sea, let's say. They're fuck. What are you going to fight everyone at once? It's very bad. It's very bad.
To me, that's what I'm thinking too.
They already threatened the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, they sent. That's how you know it has nothing to do with religion.
No, the guy's crazy.
It has nothing to do with religion because it's
He
Muslim
threatened
countries helping us.
He threatened UAE because UAE started having good ties with Israel.
Okay.
So let's resume.
Yeah.
And they said this can be remembered in history. You're gonna pay for this shit like that. Them and Iran. So their only ally is gonna be Iran, I guess. Yeah.
But I think what happens is that he's going to try to create, like he wants to be the leader of the Islamic
Empire.
Muslim world.
Yeah.
That's what he wants
That's
to
what
be.
he- that's what he said,
And
yeah.
there's other countries who just don't want that. And you could see there's
Yeah, he has. It's basically gonna be Iran, Pakistan, and Turkey versus everyone.
it's still a pretty big power when you look at Pakistan.
It is, yeah. Especially if China backs Pakistan, because who's China gonna back? Because China's already angry with India.
Yeah.
China's fighting India every day. Have you seen those border battles?
If this shit happens, you're looking at a complete world war.
Yeah.
You're gonna look at a reset of the human race as we know it.
The borders are changing. Yeah.
the borders are changing, and I think it's scary because I hope it doesn't happen. Because when I look at this, I'm like, okay, imagine World War II.
I just hope if it happens, everyone's wearing a mask, just to be safe.
You know what? It's fucked up because people start nuking and shit, which hopefully that will never happen.
Don't worry, we have masks, bro.
We're gonna wear the mask with that. It's I don't know, man. I hope, but you know what? You always looking back in time, and the world's never been peaceful.
It's never fully been peaceful. Yeah, that's
There's
true.
always been wars. And that's
We have pockets of peace, but always in different places, never all together.
yeah.
Like we've been at peace here for a while, right?
Yeah.
But fucking in Nigeria, people are like there's wars all over the place. We just don't feel it.
And I always tell people, you know what? If you're in Canada, you won a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
We're lucky to be here. And you know what I mean? Just being born here, being in such a safe place to live in, it's not perfect, but I tell people, look, we have no right to complain. If you're complaining living here, go to some countries and go see what it's like and see it, right? And you're going to see that. I mean, that's sometimes you look at that and you're like, man, what are we complaining about? We have it so well here. The system is not perfect, but at least, you know what I mean? We're not worried about going to war, being invaded, unless the U.S. decides to invade us. Imagine Trump, let's go get Canada.
No, I don't think he's nervous about Canada. He's gonna leave us alone.
Yeah, let's go get Trudeau.
Trudeau. Yeah. So somebody sent me a message while we're talking that Trudeau apparently announced federally. Trudeau said that he announces cash for loans and support for Black Canadian entrepreneurs, which I don't know if there's no way he actually believes this is going to fight racism, because this will cause more racism. Because then there's going to be, I don't know, the Swiss entrepreneur or something who's going to be like, hey, what the fuck, man? What about me?
What about me?
I'm having trouble too. Because again, they're pretending like they're helping, but they're causing more of a divide. Because now you're causing tension between, let's say, coworkers, neighbors, whatever, that didn't used to be there. Because now one guy, let's say his business is gonna close down because he wasn't able to get that shit, and his neighbor who has a business, he's gonna be like, oh no, I'm still doing good, man. Luckily I got that government help. And the guy's gonna always resent that. He's gonna be like, because of his skin color, he got that money and I had to shut down, and my kids, I have to find food for them. They're doing it on purpose. People have to start realizing that they're doing the divide and conquer on purpose to then call you a racist, to call you, so they could keep us fighting.
I could get called a racist for saying, well, look, I have nothing against it.
No. How about you give all entrepreneurs that are having trouble money?
Yeah, like I mean,
Forget their skin color.
I'm an entrepreneur. Why does he get? Why does he get money and I don't? Like I'm okay, right? But it's still, to me, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. No, it's completely.
And when I think of that, I know he wanted to do a shuffle in his government where he has X amount of women. Me personally, I'll tell you, when I hire people, I don't care the color of your race, your gender. I don't.
Yeah, that's
care
how it should be.
If you're a boy who thinks he's a girl and thinks she's a tree, if you could do the
I
job.
care about that though. If you think you're a tree, bro, I don't need you.
Look, I don't care. If you could do the job that I want, I don't give a shit. At the end, it's the best person for the job. And that creates the real hustle and grind that you need to make it.
Yeah.
That's the way it has to be for you to make it. Giving people like here, I'll give you a little something. It never helps people because at the end, you build it by working through it.
Yeah.
Right. And that I think that is counterproductive and against everything that goes from us trying to create a peaceful or kind of equality. You know, you want to say, I'm against systemic racism, but then here, let's give one group of people a lot of money.
So that the other, so that the other people get mad. They're doing it on purpose to create this.
Makes no sense.
They're doing it. It doesn't make sense to people that are thinking logically. They're doing it on purpose to continue the animosity.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit. Dude, you think they give a shit? You think Trudeau fucking blackfaced 87 times? You think he gives a shit about?
But wait, at the end, it's for votes.
Yeah.
At the end, he knows, okay.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't care. But even though it's going to cause chaos, he doesn't give a fuck.
Doesn't care. As long as he gets that certain community backing him up. And
Dude, I'm telling you, black people are not stupid, dude. People are going to start.
and you know what?
People are going to start telling them to go fuck
To
themselves.
be honest with you, if they get the money, great, man. Great.
They should.
money.
Anyone who's eligible should
Yeah.
fucking take it.
Take the
They want to
money.
be dummies. Take their money.
Build your business. I'll be
Yeah.
like, you know, I have some friends who are like, guys, if you get money, man, go and use it. Do something with it. Fuck it. They want to give it to you. Great. But I could see the other entrepreneur who's starting off.
Who's going
to be like,
what the fuck?
why, like, how is that
Fair.
How is that fair? It doesn't make sense to me, man. And like, we all know what it takes to make a business, especially from scratch. You know it, and I know it because you're at this new place, but people don't know how many years you've been doing this.
Over 10.
Over 10. How many fucking times did you have to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, buy your stuff, your equipment? It takes years to build a business.
Yeah.
So it could be frustrating for some people.
Yeah, it's gonna be, but people. That's why people need to be aware of they're getting played.
Yeah.
You need to know that you're being manipulated.
And I think that at some point, people are going to start waking up to this.
Yeah, I gotta tell you something.
Yeah.
So you're still defending people, self-defense. You're teaching people stuff.
Yeah.
You have to. I keep telling you, but you don't fucking listen to me. On your goddamn Instagram, you need to put your logo on these photos because now on your Instagram, there's just a series of photos of you attacking women in their bedrooms, out in the park, with no context. It's literally photos of you attacking women, them scared, but there's no logo that says Nick Drossos self-defense. So if I want, I could just take those photos and be like, look at this guy, bro. I took a photo of this guy attacking this woman. But it looks like a series of you attempted rapes.
But you know what? That's a good point. I should do it. I don't because people always, when they see it, it's so like
Intense.
and live that they always click and they go watch my videos.
But what if someone sees it one day, sees you, he's like, this motherfucker, and then sees you in the street, be like, I just saw this motherfucker on Instagram, get him.
Do you know that somebody did that?
I believe it.
There's a post in Calgary, and I'm doing a scenario with a girl, and they said that I was known to rape and this and that. And I swear to God, I called it in so they could delete it. And apparently, a lot of women are sending me money.
Oh, people are faking being you? Yeah, that happens a lot.
You know
Yeah.
how many
If you have enough photos on the internet, men or women, someone's gonna make fake profiles of you and then try to take advantage
You know
of
how
idiots.
many women I swear have written to me and they've sent money to like guys in Africa and this and that. And
Why would I be in Africa? I don't know, Nick.
And
The
they're like-
abs threw me off.
and they're like, you should delete and call it in. It's like,
I can't delete it. It's not mine.
it's not mine. And even when you call it in, what do you think? It takes 2 minutes. They open another account. I'm like, look, you sent the money.
Yeah. To Africa, you fucking idiot.
How's it my fault? And I'm like, one girl, I don't know how many thousands she had wrote me, how many thousands she had sent. And I'm like, damn, what the fuck? I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah, you should just be you. Collect money. Open up an OnlyFans account. Just
That's-
collect some cash.
It's crazy, man. Like people are just, and I swear.
But in that case, the dummy, I mean,
I feel sorry for these
I feel sorry, but dude, you got to pay for it. Like you fucked up. Like you know what I mean? Like that's the penalty
And it's-
for being that stupid.
And they use pictures with my son
Oh, to make it more real.
to make it more real. And I'm like, fuck. And now it's like, good luck trying to erase this shit. Right. And I tell people, look, I've given my right to privacy the moment I
Away.
came on social
Yeah.
media. I'm
Same.
aware of that. Right. I can't be mad at the government. They shouldn't do. No, I have no right of that. Why? Because I've decided to be in
Public.
public.
Same with me. That's why I don't post pictures of like my mom, girlfriend, stuff like I don't post
That's smart. Yeah.
because I don't post it because they didn't sign up for this. They didn't sign up for scrutiny, made fun of, or whatever, this and that. If I say something that someone doesn't like, they're gonna take it out on them. Do you know what I mean? They didn't sign up for that.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't post that stuff.
And you know what? Like, I mean, I tell people if if I didn't do what I did, I wouldn't be I couldn't give a shit about being on social media. But the truth is, I had so much business through social media, right? I post every day. I have a system that and now I'm I had Bass Rutten on my show.
Very
I'm
good
starting to get more people. I'm constantly out there,
Where's Bass Rutten living?
LA. Fucking guy.
It's a shithole.
So cool, man. Yes, how are you?
He doesn't want to leave LA like everyone else. Everyone's bouncing from that spot.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people are moving up.
New York City, same thing.
Yeah, and now imagine what's gonna happen to New York City, man. Did you hear what the mayor said? Cuomo, he told Donald Trump, "Don't even bother coming to New York. You need an army."
Yeah, but you know what? That's a dumb thing to say because he has an army. He's the president. It's the American army. What does that mean? He's just saying stupid things. He's like, motherfucker, take care of your city. You killed all the old people because your idea of helping people during COVID was when there's a COVID patient, you put him in an old folks home with other COVID, and then you just don't take care of anyone and let them all die. You're a fucking dummy. Okay, you and your stupid brother. And then
his brother's the best friend.
Oh my
Carlson
God.
Tucker destroys.
Yeah, they're easy to. This is the other thing is that they're easy to ridicule because they're so fucking stupid and they go again with that ideology, not logic. Like his brother was the guy who faked the whole COVID thing. I don't know if you remember. So his brother said that he had COVID-19. Let's say he did, right? He's supposed to quarantine. They caught him on video. He was out and about looking at a new property that he wants to buy, and he got into a fight with someone because someone who watches CNN said, "Hey, stupid, aren't you supposed to be quarantining? You have COVID-19. He's like, "Fuck you, mind your business." And they got into this whole fucking thing.
Way.
Yeah. And then a few days later, CNN does this thing, the fakest thing ever. They bring videos to his house, and cameras to his house, and they go, "It's the first time that Cuomo comes up and he sees his family because he's been in quarantine for a month or whatever." No, he wasn't. We have videos of him and his family out looking at houses and shit. And he comes out like, "Oh, I'm so happy to see you guys." This is all fake. It's all fake bullshit. It's all fake bullshit. I hate these people, dude. Fake bullshit.
You know what? That's the hard part, right? Like the fake news. Like you don't know what's fake and what's real. And I think it's purposely made to confuse us.
Of course,
so
dude.
We
of course.
don't know. Like you're looking at the news, and even what you call real news, is it real?
There's no real news. I'm saying this. There's no. Everyone who's like, "Oh, instead of CNN, I'm gonna watch Fox." Dude, they all skew because all they give a shit about now is their political party because they're all basically wings of a political party.
Yeah.
So they all skew one way or another. So that's not real news. For me, news isn't Donald Trump is an idiot or Biden is a retard. That's not news for me.
I knew.
You know what news is? Trump said thing. Biden said thing. And then you come up with what the fuck. Tell me the truth and let me decide how I feel about it. That's news. Tell me the news, what happened. The second you dictate how I should feel, you're manipulating. Right before I get the info, you're manipulating how I should feel. You stop being news. You become propaganda.
But it's the way it's all done.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's complete fuckery.
And it's confusing because, you're like, okay, who do you believe? Like, even, I remember I used to read the National Enquirer. What's that? Those magazines, UFOs are flying.
Oh yeah. Oh, the tabloids.
Now this shit's on time.
Yeah.
And this shit's become like,
dude, it's all tabloids.
Yeah, it's all tabloids now. Like that stuff you used to read and used to make fun of. Now it looks like news have gotten to that because I don't know. Is it more views, more clicks? People watch it more, read it more. We've become dumber. I don't know.
I think people have always been stupid. You just see it more now because of the videos. People have always been racist. You see it more now because of the videos. That's what I think is. I think we're just being exposed to it more. And so we feel like, fuck, is everyone getting dumber? Because you're used to your own bubble, right? That's what you're used to. You don't think that when you look out in the distance, there's this much fuckery happening. But I am convinced that more and more people are waking up. Is it going to be enough to shake the cage, kind of jolt everyone? Because it all depends now on this generation that we're raising now, the next workers, how they're going to be. If they dictate by logic and like, I don't want to deal with, you know what I mean? We're going to be fine. If they're ideologue, fucking me, self-centered, we're fucked. Another generation like that, we're fucked.
Man, it's hard because, I have my son, he's 12 years old.
How does he seem?
He's actually like, I try to put good ideas in his head. I try to it's also the stuff, they were learning in school and they were like, yeah, daddy, we learned what gay is, lesbian, transgender, bitrans. He was like,
what's bitransgender?
I don't know, just a whole, he was telling me everything they're learning, and I'm like, you're teaching all this stuff in school, right? And it's kind of like, I mean, we didn't learn this stuff. So I'm like, okay, like, I mean, obviously I tell them, look, no, I mean, you have to respect people no matter what they are. Right. But again,
how come they don't teach them to do their fucking taxes?
But you ask me, that's what school should be.
Yeah.
Right. Before teaching them.
Teaching you how to be a contributing member of society and not to be a dickhead.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
this is how you do your taxes. You're going to meet many people. You're going to meet a transgender person. You're going to meet a Haitian person. You're going to meet a Turkish person. Don't be a fucking asshole. That's that's the kind of shit they should be teaching kids.
I agree. I totally agree.
But I do believe they should teach them how to do their taxes, how to vote, what is voting, how the system works. Those are the most important things. How to cook.
How to read a contract.
Yeah,
yes. Those are
shit that they're going to do in real life.
In real life, man. Like, I mean, I look at it. I always, like, I got kicked out of school when I was 16, bro. 16, right? And
if you knew how to cook, that wouldn't have happened.
I went up to secondary 2, and then I had trouble because I couldn't, and I had.
You were dyslexic, no? But they didn't know at the time.
At the time, no. Like, I mean,
this asshole doesn't want to read properly.
Yeah, the teacher just said, "Well, you're dumb, you're slow, you don't get it." You know what I mean? I had ADHD, I had dyslexia, I had my learning disabilities. So
different time back then.
Yeah, so I never had, I never had help, and I left school and I had to figure shit out on my own, and with very little tools. But I think the life experience and the just being out in the field from a young age, working from 13 to 16, 17. I worked all my life. Sometimes I say, man, I'm fucking tired. I'm going to be 44. I've been working since I'm 13 and I haven't stopped. However, the benefits of that type of life made me very resilient, very strong, gave me, the life experience to believe in myself and to never give up on my dream. And like the confidence through the years have built that now it's like, okay, now I know I'm more clear with what I want, what I want to achieve, my goals, and not settling for anything less than what I want.
Good.
But I think that, at the same time today, I think what's challenging for the kids is finding that I try to do with my son. What's that sweet spot between, go to school, get educated. Yes. Give him love, give him a little bit of tough love, give him some life experience, let him go out and work at a young age, 16, 15, go to McDonald's, flip some burgers, see what it's like. It's finding that balance that's hard. But that's what I'm trying to do with him,
Yeah.
And teach him real stuff that he's going to use. He tells me, oh, Daddy, if I do my bed, are you going to pay me? Let me tell you.
Oh, no, buddy.
I'm like, it's your bed. You're supposed to do it. I'm paying you for shit you're supposed to be doing. Okay? Yeah. You're not doing anything extraordinary right now, right? Well, Daddy, I'll help you clean the gym. Let me tell you, that gym is what puts food in your table.
So you better fucking clean it yourself.
Clean it, okay? Yeah. Or else I'll start up your child support. How does that sound?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I try to drill this stuff like this. And people might be, well, that's a little bit rough. No. He's got to learn at a certain point that shit in life. And I tell people don't. He goes, Daddy, it's not fair. I go, no, I get you.
Life's not fair.
Life's not fair. Get used to it. If you're waiting for a fair life, you're going to be very much deceived in your life.
Yeah, very disappointed.
To think everybody's fair and we're all... It's hard to say. We try to say we're all equal, but we're not. And it's hard to say that. And what I mean, we're not all equal. I'm not equal to a doctor. He has a different type of intelligence or a different gift, and I have a different gift. And it's okay. We need to start being okay with each of our limits and saying, okay, look, this is my limit. I know it. This is how far I can go. And other people are higher than me in certain other levels.
Exactly, yeah.
So we're not all equal, and it's being able to say, that's okay. This is the best or what I can do.
Or I'm very good at X thing, so I'm going to focus on that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
like right now, if you put me, I love the Raptors, right?
Okay.
I can't play on that team.
Yeah.
I can't play on that fucking team. Right? Nobody can podcast like me on that fucking team, that's for sure. That is my superpower, right? The gift of gab. Actually, maybe Kyle Lowry. He's a good talker too. He's funny. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, I love it. But I know that I'm not as good as them.
Yeah. And I tell people, like, find, like you said, your superpower, what you're good at, what you like to do, and then fucking, run with it. You know what I mean? Make it your career. Make it your life.
Did you see what happened to Djokovic, the tennis player?
No.
Oh, he got eliminated. He got disqualified from a tournament because he was pissed off after a call, whatever, and he, hits the ball hard.
Yeah, I heard about it.
And he hit some lady who works there in the neck, one of those ball ladies, those judges, those line judges, and she fucking sold it like a wrestling move. Oh, she fell on her knees and stuff. She was holding her head too. It's a fucking tennis ball, and he didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
but they made it seem like it was the biggest crime ever committed. And he's like, all right, I apologize, and disqualified him. It's like, well, those are the rules if you hit a line judge, but he clearly wasn't trying to hit a random woman.
Yeah.
It's so, but the way she went down, dude. Oh, when you see it, you're like, fuck, who's falling for this? I always hate it when somebody gets hit somewhere and then they try to overdo it and they start grabbing someplace else. You know, they start grabbing her head. I'm like, come on, guys, this is stupid. Replay that.
But you see, we've become, I believe, a society that we reinforce victims.
Yeah, we do. We worship
my God,
victimhood. Yeah.
Okay. Look, I'm sorry I hit you with tennis ball. Shit, I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
All right, it's okay. You know what? I'm gonna feel better. That's it. We don't need to fucking make it so big, like as if the guy walked up to her and said, "Okay, I'm gonna hit you in the throat with a tennis ball."
Yeah, exactly. And it's a fucking tennis ball. Man, a tennis ball's not hard. You ever been hit with a tennis ball? Tennis ball's fine. It's not a baseball. A baseball would have killed her.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. It probably hurt. She probably.
Yeah, it's a shock. I'm not saying it didn't shock her. Like you got hit in the head. You're like, what the fuck's happening? But to go down the way she went down, she overdid it. They brought the medics in. Like, guys, come the fuck on. What game are we playing right now? You brought the medics in for this.
But I think that I think like I said, I mean, we see this overall. Like, I mean, you ever watch hockey back then or basketball? Man, they used to play rough.
Yeah.
Man. You know, and they used to like, I love Michael Jordan. You know, back in there when I used to play basketball, we used to go on the court, man, fucking elbows.
It was hard. Yeah.
Now it's like,
Yeah, the flop started because the European players introduced the flop to the NBA.
Yeah.
So then people started flopping.
So I mean, you should get called for that. I mean, if you can.
Sometimes, but it's very hard. Some guy got fined during the playoffs now because after the game they fined him like $70,000. No, not said like $10,000 for. But I think he's accumulated 70 G's this year in flop calls because they check out after the game like, fuck, this guy flopped. Like he'll get hit here, shoulder, and then he'll grab his head, be like, oh no, my face. Like,
but that's when you see, like, I mean, you're watching that, and that's when you see that victim that.
Well, yeah, but that's also just they're so desperate they want to win. Yeah,
but it's also you're still cheating.
Yeah,
you're right. There's still a mindset behind cheating.
Yeah,
it's related with the, oh my God, we're cheating so you could do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah.
Now the child who's watching this thinks, okay, well, I could pull this off.
Some Eddie Guerrero shit. Cheat to win, baby.
You know, what
Latino
I mean?
hate.
And anything you do, man, you gotta, like, it's not the way to do it.
So are you saying that people should just work hard and go after their dreams instead of waiting for someone to give it to them? Is that the message here?
But you know what's fucked up? That message doesn't stand anymore.
I love that message. That's what I do. Work hard.
Doesn't stand anymore. Like I see where you're going from when you started, and I know where you're gonna be because it's in you. Like, I mean, there's nothing stopping you. Just like me, there's nothing stopping me. We've cemented the way. So I won't let anything define me. I won't let anything get in my way. And if it does, I'm just going to do a detour and find another solution to getting to it.
Exactly.
And I think people need to be coming out and saying that message, right? And I have a friend of mine, she's black. We're very close. And she goes, I told my kids, I said something to them, look, you're probably going to run into some people who might not like you. You might run into some people who are not going to, not be for because of the color. You will find.
Yeah, for sure.
And you might have a little bit more challenges, but you're going to have to work around it and work through it. Now, that's a powerful message. And that goes for everybody. That goes for, that went for me, having my learning disabilities and having to go, okay, I can't get, I had to fake a diploma to get a job. And they found out. And
What job?
I got a job at the casino.
They'll double check everything. The government doesn't fuck around.
I was training as security in the casino, and he tells me, he goes, I was 19. I was like, fuck, where am I going to get a job, man? And I was like, shit. And I was training, and my friend Remy was security, and he goes, and he was working at the casino. I go, Remy, can you get me a job at the casino? Security, benefits, they pay well. He goes, yeah, sure, man. He goes, you have your high school? I just bullshit. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, okay. So he gets me an interview. I go through the first interview. I go through the second interview. I go through the third interview. Then I go for physical. Because I get the job. I go through the physical. Everything's good. They're like, yeah, fax us. Send us your diploma.
Fuck.
We're talking about fucking 20 years ago, right? I was like 19. Almost, yeah. So I looked at my best friend, Eddie. I'm like, fuck, what do I do? I'm like, Eddie, give me your diploma. So
You put your name?
I put my name. I forged it. I made it look fucking perfect. I printed it, everything. I sent it. They call me back. Yeah, hi, Mr. Joseph. We have a problem. We can't find your diploma in our system. She's like, I'm like, that's weird.
That's very odd.
She goes, did you finish high school? I'm like,
not exactly.
I'm like, kind of. Thank you very much. They just,
oh, really?
yeah.
Should have been like, I finished going. Like, I stopped going. I definitely finished. Like, I just decided I'm done. Does that count? Oh, that sucks.
But I'm planning, I want to go back to school.
Really? Now?
At 50.
Dude, school's for fools.
I want to go back at 50 and get my high school diploma.
Oh, you can get it quick. You can go to adult ed.
But you know what? I want to go just for my own.
Symbolic.
Yeah, it's for symbolic.
But you know what else it's going to be? What? A waste of time.
I know.
You're an adult with shit to do.
I know. It's more for me to say I did it. I know my attention is like sitting in front of a screen and like my brain just, I need to move.
You should find a way to let you go into real high school. You could fucking bully kids, wedgie them.
Imagine going back to high school now, smacking all the kids
and
being like,
don't forget to do my homework, Bill. I'm gonna eat your fucking lunch again.
Imagine it. I'll be like one of those, 50-year-old dads going back to school.
Yeah, it'd be fucking amazing. I'd be willing to be in a reality show if they would let me do stuff like that, like go to high school.
That'd be fun.
Like, you already have your high school. We'll do it again. We'll reset it. But kids are very small. I know. That's the beauty of it.
Finally, I'm going to get to bully all those kids. Who's your dad? Yeah, I remember your dad.
Yeah, you're bullying the teacher. Nick, you forgot your homework. Did I, bitch? That'd be fucking amazing. That'd be a good fucking show.
That'd be a good show, actually.
So look, before we go, just to remind people, Nick Drossos, all right, is online right now, and you're doing all your classes online. People could subscribe and get a package, and then you will train them digitally. Where are they going to go to get that?
Best place, number one place, my website, nickdrossos.com.
It has links to everything. Nick is on the YouTube. There's links to that. He's on Instagram. He's on social media. But his best stuff is really on Instagram, YouTube, and his classes on nickdrossos.com, which exploded in the last couple of months. Yeah. I mean, COVID obviously helped because people are like, fuck it, I'm going to do it from home. So nickdrossos.com. Head over to Nick's channel, subscribe there. He has self-defense videos. He teaches you how to fucking fight against knife-wielding enemies. It's pretty good. As far as all this chaos the government's trying to do, just remember, man, fucking just be good to people. Be good to your fucking neighbors. Don't be a cunt. Eliminate, I don't know, if there's a racist piece of shit that fucking eliminate him from your life. That's the best thing you could do. Like, you're not gonna sit there argue with these fucking people. And that's that. Apart from that, panteliscomedy.com, the Patreon is booming. If you sign up for a yearly membership all the way up to September 30th, you get yourself a free keychain as part of the membership. So thank you all for listening.